So Passover begins next week, and this morning we're learning how to incorporate the use of traditional matzah in a dessert, a delicious dessert, in fact. We're getting the recipe from Chef Laura with Celebrated Cuisine, and good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
So we are going to make something called matzah toffee crunch, which is a recipe I found online. It's courtesy of Marcy Goldman. And when I first saw it, I thought, well, it's got to be a great recipe because there's no way you can make matzah taste good, especially in a dessert. So I gave it a shot. This is a couple years ago, and oh my gosh, it is really great. So basically what we have here is a combination of brown sugar and butter. And what we did was brought it up to a boil for about 5 minutes, okay? Now a little trick for people, and what you did just now is great because you basically combined the butter and the sugar.
A little hard.
And you can take that off the heat. Okay. And I'm taking our matzah here, which is right here. This is unleavened bread, okay? This is what the Jews ate when they had their exodus from Egypt because they only had a short period of time to get out.
They didn't have time for it to rise.
And they didn't have time for it to rise, right? So it was kind of get up and go. So basically what I've done is I've just covered your sheet tray with a whole sheet of matzah. What I'm gonna have you do is take this, you can take the whisk out, and then I want you to pour it evenly all over it. Yep.
Alrighty. Is there a wrong way to do it?
Just not on me. That's the only thing I can do. And just keep doing that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in the oven and let it bake for about 5 more minutes.
Okay.
So the nice thing about this is that it's a very easy dessert to make, it's a fast dessert to make, it tastes great, everybody loves it, and you've got some versatility. If you want to use semi-sweet chocolate, use that. If you want to use dark chocolate, you can. If you can find kosher for Passover white chocolate, use that. And then any kind of nut you want to use is great. So you can use almonds, which we're going to use today, you can use pistachios, you can use pecans. The choice is pretty much yours. So go ahead and use the spatula right here and spread that out nice and thinly.
Now, do you have to work with this really quickly so it doesn't...
doesn't start to get set up. It doesn't get hard.
Alrighty.
Exactly.
You make this every year? Is this kind of a tradition now?
It's actually in demand, yeah. And so not only do I make it for me, I make it for my clients to give as gifts. I teach this as part of a cooking class. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm teaching a Passover cooking class at the Kitchens at Celebrated Cuisine in Tempe.
Perfect timing.
And we'll be doing about 6 different recipes. Because the hard part about Passover is that there are a lot of things that we're restricted from eating. So we really need to get our creativity
For example,
going.
go ahead and tell, I'm Christian, so I actually love learning about this.
Okay, well, we can't eat anything that has yeast in it or has corn syrup. We don't eat any corn products. We don't eat any legumes, so no beans. We don't eat anything with baking soda or butter, so we do a lot of things from scratch. And all of our dessert baking then, if we want to get a rise out of it, we have to whip egg whites. And so there's a lot of eggs that are eaten during Passover.
So you don't really have to compromise as long as you know the right recipes.
As long as you know the recipe and you know what you can't use. So instead of using breadcrumbs, we'll use matzah meal, which is this that has been ground up really finely. And so, you know, a lot of times you can think of it as being a real challenge, but for the most part, it's not so much of a challenge if you know how you can make some easy substitutions. Okay, so now I'm going to put that in the oven. That's perfect.
So this, okay.
Your toffee skills are beautiful.
I think I left some white, but that's okay.
Nope, it's okay. It'll spread out while it melts. And that's going to sit in there for 5 minutes. And then when it comes out, it looks just like this.
Wow, it's bubbling.
Bubbling big time. So now the fun part, right? We're going to take this. I want you to sprinkle this. Be careful, that's hot.
Okay.
And just sprinkle all over the top of it. And this is the part, like I said, you can change the type of chip that you're using if you want to use any other kind of chocolate. You can take, you can buy bars of chocolate and chop that as well and use that on here. You don't have to use a chip.
The matzah bread, are they crackers? Bread?
Matzah is just, it's Passover flour and water. That's all it is. And the cool thing about matzah, very little known, is that to correctly make this, not only do you need to bake it in a kitchen that has been cleaned and prepared for Passover, so there's no remnants of bread or anything around, but also you have to get it done within about 16 minutes from start to finish, from the mixing process all the way through the baking process.
That's part of the rush because symbolic
well, it's symbolic of the rush that we were in to begin with. Yeah, I say we because member of my tribe, but it's, it's just one of those things where it has to be done. Don't give any opportunity for the gluten that's natural in the flour to activate and start to rise a little bit too. So now once you finish dumping the rest of those on, grab that spatula again, you can start spreading that out.
I thought you were saying grab that one extra. I was like, okay.
Don't let any little chip fall off the side. Okay, and use your spat and just kind of spread that out. You'll see that it's going to naturally melt down a little bit.
Oh, I see, okay. So this is not going back into the oven?
This will not go back in the oven at this point because it's going to melt out really nicely. And chocolate chips are actually designed, you want to use this so you don't burn your hand, are designed so they really break down easily. If you think about chocolate chip cookies when you bake them, you know, they stay pretty solid. So you really need to give a little bit of pressure when you spread it out.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. The more pressure you add, friends at home, the more quickly it melts.
There you go, and just
I was
actually
afraid
just
to
give a
mess
little
it
swirl
up,
to all of those.
I guess you really can't mess it up,
No,
huh?
you can have some chunks in it as well. So that's always good. So go ahead and just do a quick little sweep around the whole thing.
Like this?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then we'll just do this half over here since you've got
I
it so
still have
nicely
like
spread
14 minutes left, Laura. What's the problem here?
Well, then we can actually make our own
I
matzo.
said I had 16, all right?
So going back to the whole diet question also, I mean, you know, it does become a little bit of a challenge, but a lot of proteins. If you think about eating kind of like let's see, a gluten-free, no bean type of diet,
Okay.
then you are probably 3/4 of the way there. So that definitely helps.
Okay.
All right,
For time's
beautiful job
sake,
here.
There we go. We're done.
All right, and then this just gets sprinkled right on top. And we can use any kind of nut we want. Why don't you do this side over by you?
All right.
And all you need to do with this at this point is let it cool down. You can chill it in your fridge if you want to. And then you break it up into little pieces, which is what I've done here. So I've used a different type of almond. I use slivered almonds, but all of this just breaks up into little tiny pieces. And if you want to give that a try, you can actually see that matzah can taste really good.
Oh, yeah. Tastes just like toffee.
I know, it's good stuff.
It's funny how the cracker actually like makes it taste like it's the toffee.
Yeah, it just kind of holds everything together. So this is
I'm
just a
really
great
surprised.
recipe. And you can keep it in an airtight container at room temperature for up to a week. You can freeze it also if you want to.
Don't forget to package it really pretty with a ribbon and then, hey, give it.
There you go, and happy Passover.